Welcome back. Have you ever felt like your achievements have been diminished by a colleague, or that you've been held back or even criticized for your ambitions by your family or your friends? Then you may have been subjected to something called tall poppy syndrome. Here with more on what it is and how to stop it in its tracks is peak performance and mindset coach Hina Khan. Hi, Hina.
Hi.
Always good to see you.
So good to see you.
And I love this topic. So let's talk about what exactly is tall poppy syndrome.
So it comes from this idea that when certain flowers grow beyond other flowers, they are then cut down to create a uniform look, and so all the flowers are at the same level.
Right.
And there was a study that was done that found like, this is also happening at the workplace, where when somebody starts to stand out, get amazing results, they're doing really, really well, they will be cut down. And that will be in the form of jabs, personal criticism, rejection, or sometimes radio silence when something has gone really well.
Yeah. You know what else I thought of just when you were saying that? Is this the sort of thing we see with starlets? Like, we see a lot of adoration, and then all of a sudden, like, we love you, we love you, we love you, Taylor Swift, then we hate you.
Absolutely.
So it's almost like they flew too close to the sun, and now everybody has to show you and humble you and take you back so that you're cut down a little bit, which is interesting. So, and problematic. Walk us through sort of some of the signs of the syndrome and why you say it's mostly women that are impacted by this.
It is. It is mostly women. And how you can know if you are being impacted is if you are hesitant in sharing your ideas. If you've got some goals and you're not sharing it because you don't want to be shamed for it. Like, who do you think you are going for that goal? Oh, really? You know? And then it could also be things like not sharing good news because you don't want to make others uncomfortable with your success or things going well. So you'll start to not celebrate your success. You'll withhold it or downplay your achievement. You know, like, oh, it wasn't really that big of a deal. Oh, it was okay. Yeah, I got lucky.
Yes.
No, you didn't get lucky. You worked for it.
Yes.
But we feel we have to do that to make others feel comfortable.
What causes this tall poppy syndrome? What's that about?
I would say, you know, after working with hundreds of clients, Tracy, it actually comes back to childhood. I don't know about you, but many people heard things like, oh, you know what? Don't be boastful. Like, don't share what you're doing well because you actually don't want to make someone else feel uncomfortable. It's not a good character trait to do that. Or don't shine so bright. Don't take up so much space, because there was this idea that if we did, we would be taking away from others, as opposed to the fact that when you shine your light, you're shining it on me, and I'm shining because of your light. But that's not the way we were taught that, and now we see it in the workplace.
So this is me sort of playing a bit of devil's advocate, but what about humility? What about being humble? Like, isn't there something to be said for that as well?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's not an either or. It's and. I can desire to go really far in this company. I can desire to have wealth. I can desire to have a certain life, and I can be humble. So you can have ambition and humility. I feel it goes hand in hand, actually, because when you do well, you just want everyone to do well.
True.
And when you have more to give.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, well, and I think that's why they always say people usually punch up, they don't punch down. Like, when you're doing well, you don't feel the need to clap back.
Yes.
And when you're not doing well, you're sort of, you want to chop all the you want to chop the tall flowers, right? So there's sort of this get back down here with the rest of us type of thing.
Absolutely.
The only situation I can think of where I felt like it was probably tall poppy syndrome, and there's probably many of them, but when I go back to university, I worked in the McGill cafeteria to, you know, help pay tuition and pay for books and all of that stuff. And it was the first time that I had been maliciously dressed down by an adult. All the grown-ups in my life, I felt, you know, I had great relationships with my teachers, my aunts and uncles, my parents, everything was cool. But there was this one woman, and this was her full-time job, and it was my part-time job, and she would get me in that locker room, and she she would tell me about myself and just tell me, like, I don't know who you think you are.
Wow.
You're just a student working here. This is my area. And I was very good at the job, and I did the job really well, and I did it really quickly, and my boss really liked me.
Yes.
And I feel like all of those reasons, even though at the time I couldn't compute them, I sort of felt like this is unfair, and she is trying to pull me back, and it hurt. So would you say that is sort of a tall poppy?
Yes. And what I'm curious about is, how did you process that? Were you able to see that it was about her, or did you take it personally?
Well, I did what Tracy Moore does best. I cried.
Yeah, I would have had a good cry too.
Oh, I cried. It took me off guard. And I remember my boss at the time took me aside, and my boss was a black woman, and she said to me, "You don't cry. You have to understand that some people are not able to communicate what they're really feeling, that some people might be jealous, some people might be feeling all sorts of things. The bottom line is that's their baggage." Now, I don't agree anymore with the advice of we don't cry, because we do cry, and we're okay with that. But I understood from, like, there was a small part of me that knew this was about her feeling threatened and not me doing anything wrong, even at that age.
Tracy, I just think what a gift it was that you had another perspective shown to you.
Yeah.
So imagine if you didn't, and you're this young woman trying to process that. For some people, that could really stunt their growth, their career growth.
Right.
This is where they would be hesitant in sharing ideas. I better not stand out, because the repercussions are horrible. I don't want a dressing down, so let me just keep myself small. So thank goodness that other woman was there to see you.
Yeah, no, I'm so grateful for her. Is there something we should do, though, if we feel that we are in a situation where folks are trying to cut us down?
Yes, I think one thing is to find a community where you can share your dreams, where, I mean, I feel we have that in my coaching community, where like, oh, you can even more, go further, faster, how can I help you? And that could be outside of work. So it could also be looking for that kind of support in another place, so you don't have to look at it at work. And the other thing is an accomplishment list. We talk a lot about gratitude, but what about you acknowledging you validating you? And then always remember why, your why, because you are someone's possibility. And I think this is so true for you, Tracy. There may be people, and you must get that slide into your DMs with an opinion.
Oh, yeah.
But there are so many people who, when they see you show up, they see what's possible for them.
Yeah.
And it's remembering that. And I think about that, and I think, you know what, my work here, what I feel that I'm here for, is beyond anybody's insecurities, and it's even beyond my own insecurities.
Right.
So you know, sometimes we have to have a little pep talk with ourselves and remember why we're doing what we're doing, and it matters.
Oh, I love that. Maybe I'll just call you, Hina.
Well,
next time I get a little, right? Maybe I'll just give you a call, because I love that.